computer. So connect, schedule, schedule. Hola. Okay. What did I do wrong here? Ah, there you are.
There we go.
Okay, so the live is being prepared. We'll be a few minutes late because of the 10-minute rule they have on Facebook.
What is that 10-minute rule?
Like the steps that you know, I needed to do. That I have two things I have to do. So one is on Zoom, okay, which seriously.
Oh, I love this. So, you know what you just said about Oprah? So you want to be like an Oprah and do lots of interviews, do you?
Well,
or are you saying you want to be on Oprah?
I really want to be a mentor and coach for all women to live life on their terms, to live out their heart desire, to have the man of their dreams, to be successful in their job, to have an impact in the world, to be happy and fulfilled, you know, to literally have it all. And of course, it's not that, you know, you wish for it and it comes like the toy truck under the Christmas tree. Right? Would be wonderful, wouldn't it? But and it's work, inner work that you need to do on yourself.
Exactly.
You know,
So what was it you were saying about the Oprah thing?
Right. So now some people, you know, I'd like to do really one-on-one coaching with, but obviously my time is limited too, and I'd like to do retreats around that topic, but also I want to build a program that's all around that people can watch, you know, videos. Everybody can watch a video most of the time, and just get started and get connected to the idea.
Yeah.
You know, because it is not always working like that. So let me see. Okay, so it said, yeah, we have like 7 more minutes before it goes live. Let me just close all the unnecessary crap.
Always a good practice.
Okay. Yes, and by the way, I encourage you to also, because today is a Tuesday Live, well, obviously you're in the spotlight, so I'll also share it into the group, the recording. But apart from this, you know, Mondays and Fridays, that's a good thing for you yourself. It doesn't have to be professional. It can be very personal. I give a lot of tips around how you move closer to your own personal dream life, right? So, like, use that tool. And no matter who you mentor with, or that's a simple tool that you can always implement in your own life, very simply, because very often when we really watch our well-being,
Yes.
literally from sleep over food, over water, over exercise, over self-care, that then our creative juices are really flowing, and we actually get to the point of where we want to be.
Yes.
And from that point we have a clarity. Oh, okay. I'm thinking too detailed. I'm thinking, too many things. So what is the one thing that I really want to achieve this quarter, and kind of reverse engineer. And then by putting it out there, you keep yourself accountable, not just to me, but all the other ladies. So, as well. So that's the one step to success. And then the second step is really to look at the end of the week, which is Friday, to look over it and say, oh, let's see, have I done what I wanted on Monday?
Yeah.
Why not? Or why?
Yes.
What were my lessons? What have I learned?
Yeah, I think I will use that as a
So I encourage you to simply share in the group with everybody, and you can share your wisdom quotes on Wednesday, or everything about wisdom or fun. For now I have taken off because it has not been responding at all with people to share their services in the group, what they do, their gifts. It wasn't really taken well, so I took it out and instead put it to, selfie fun weekend.
Okay.
So share that in the group. It's also great for people to get to know you,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, we all can do this, no matter if we're at the playground with our kitties. Or
exactly.
How
many people do you have in the group at the moment?
107.
And how many kind of actively engage?
75.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Now I'm noticing, especially this week, but it's also because of me, as a host, as a leader, the group pretty quickly reflects your own energy. And I had some stuff on my own that I needed to clear.
Yes.
And it was quite, that was occupying myself. So, now it's, I noticed that it goes down a little, and now I need to also push it back up, but also because I really feel the cause is so worthy for so many women.
Exactly.
And men have it too, but in different ways.
Exactly. We are different, so.
We are really different, so keep only women in the group, even though men sometimes have the same result. They're not living the life they want, but the reasons why they don't are different from.
Yeah.
So let me see. What's that? That was my thing. Okay, but that's not where I want to be. Okay, 3 more minutes. Schedule. Then click schedule.
Oh.
On that. On the click edit your details. In another browser, sign into Zoom and navigate to. I haven't done that. Schedule. I haven't done that. Click the live stream. I've done that. Copy from Facebook. And paste it. Okay. Okay. All right. So I don't know if this is going to work or not. We'll see. If not, there's a lesson for me to be learned. But what I'll certainly do, I will post this, and then we may reschedule it again and give you another chance of doing that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because I really want to give you the visibility.
I'm just looking here to see if so where would this tell me?
Like if you, because I see
I'm
just
looking to see if it's
next thing and it doesn't do anything.
the other thing we can do, if it's not streaming, we could just do the video.
Yeah, for sure. We do the
and
video.
then yeah, and then do a live one another time.
Yeah, and then I edit the video for sure. Because everything we speak about now, it's on the video. It's like the real conversations. I mean, yeah.
But that's the whole point, isn't it? It was supposed to be that.
The learning curve, guys. It's like, oh, it didn't end there. Oh, I have to go. Oh, I have to do this. You know, in the end.
Exactly, and that just goes to show.
Right.
Because exactly like what we've just been through this morning, I've never seen a presenter need to do all of that, and I've never been the person to speak, the interviewee, or a co-webinar host.
Yeah, and you see this light here? This is really symbolic.
Ding!
Ding! Ding! I can't reach the light switch, but yeah, literally. So the new one,
that would be really good, actually. Whenever there's an idea, you just ding.
Like, yeah, literally. You know, it's like, oh,
that could be your little thing.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I'm prepared. I have all the links in place, but no. But here's the thing. Here's literally the learning in this. No matter if we are streaming live right now or not. Once you figured this out, whatever it is in life, then it's like natural. You're like, yeah, of course.
Exactly. And you've had the experience. It's a bit like, when people have spiritual experiences, you can't unknow what you know now, what you now know. You can't unexperience what you've experienced.
Right. Right. The process may be painful, maybe embarrassing, maybe difficult, maybe teary,
Exactly.
Like when I'm releasing, I'm like a natural crier.
Yay. But that's the thing, I feel like, and that's what I mean about things being on top, because I feel like really all of us feminine women, we are, but sometimes we feel like we have to harden. We feel like we have to not cry. We feel like we have to just get on with it, and we sometimes suppress our feelings.
Yeah.
Because we have to move on too quickly. There's no time for that.
Yeah, sometimes that is very true, but like when you go, it's kind of like the weather outside, the nature, when you love rainbows, well, then there must be rain before, and then comes the sun that creates the rainbow.
Yeah.
But often we feel like just before the rain stops, had enough. It's just not meant for me. I'm giving up. And I know that feeling this morning. Actually last night, I have to be honest. It's like, why am I doing all this?
Oh.
So because it's also about being honest where you are as a professional woman, but also as a personal woman.
Yes.
And for me personally, our finances are not in great shape, so we're working on this. It's a process. But however, there are things that are not like I want them to be now.
Yes.
Right? And when you face them, it's super painful. It's not pretty. And I felt like, get a 9-to-5.
I've considered that a few times.
Get a 9-to-5. Yes, it's easier for sure, but it's not as rewarding because you're not becoming who you are meant to be or who you really are inside.
It's funny you say easier. To me, it's easier from the contractual perspective that okay, I'll go to work, I know I'm going to get paid.
Right.
That feels easier.
Right.
But it's the same as what I suppose Lenka teaches us in her energetic selling book, is that if you've got the right energy about things, then we can have that same certainty that, you know what, when I show up in my business and I do these things consistently, my clients are seeing me, they are hearing me, they are whoop, whoop, cheering me on, you know, people are here supporting us.
Right. Right, exactly.
But sometimes, you know, you've got that post and it's got like 1 like on it or nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
You're like, is no one listening?
But then, you know, that's a great thing about all this pixel thing that we have now. You can see that actually, I don't know, 75 people saw it. They just didn't, you know, it wasn't for whatever reason that may have nothing to do with value at all. They just didn't have the time to click that, either that hard like or whatever button, or write something to it, you know. And because we live in such a fast-paced world when it comes to information,
Yes,
even when you think yourself, oh, I'm going to do that later, how often, if you're not written it down, has it slipped?
Right? Exactly.
So just, you know, everything is meant to be the way it's meant to be. And the first question I would have for you, obviously, maybe you introduce yourself a little bit, what you do, who you are. I know you're a fantastic mom to your kids, but you're also at the same time a great businesswoman, or owning your business, you know, on that path. So yeah, just tell us more about who is Donnamaree Daodu.
Oh, that's a very interesting question, because I would say up until maybe a couple of years ago or so, I could have said to you, this is me. But like you said about transformative work, I have allowed myself to go right down to the absolute foundations of life, which has now allowed me to be able to say, it's almost like God says in the Bible, kind of, I am that I am. I am all of it, you know. Before, you know, I was super organized, very, very, you know, ambitious and doing all of these great things and succeeding, and, you know, had this high level of standards and, you know, met so many things, and, you know, person of my word, I'm a qualified accountant. So there's a lot of things where it's kind of like, this is me. And a lot of qualities and characteristics where I was very proud to say, this is me. But when we have that, we also have on the flip side the things that we wouldn't want to be associated with.
Oh yeah.
So life has had an amazing way of allowing me to experience things, which means that I've experienced myself as a lot of those things that I didn't
want to be associated
accept. Yes, and accept that I am too, if you like. Because obviously we see it in others, but that's never me. So I can confidently and happily say that, as much as I can say that I am a strong woman, I'm a soft woman. And at times I feel weak. And even when I'm not feeling weak, even when I feel strong, I enjoy support. I love appreciation. You know, connectivity as a feminine woman is absolutely key. So, yeah, I suppose what I would say is I'm an expression of femininity in this world. Awesome. And yeah, very happy about that.
Awesome. But you said, you know, femininity, like I'm coming more from the point of when I look back at my own life, to be, gosh, before I knew anything about energy or femininity or, you know, you know, I'm always very planned, very structured, to a degree, because I like to be spontaneous too. And
yes.
To, you know, have room for intuition. And I've learned in the past couple of years that would be probably something I tell my younger self, you know, relax. You don't have it all figured out, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes kicks in and tells me the craziest things that I couldn't have known a week before.
Yeah.
But yet I still think to have a plan, in the sense of a goal, something that you focus on, something that you drive towards to,
yes,
is important to have. And then just be flexible and be open, a little flexibility and openness around how to get there. So what tools are you helping yourself to not lose that focus?
It's funny because this is, I suppose, a massive thing around the value of partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously when it comes to being a feminine woman, the thriving there comes with being able to be in flow, being able to, like you said, you know, move with your intuition and have the space for, you know, spontaneity, you know, and doing these things in flow. But at the same time, you have things like the school run, for example. You know, there's a time that I need to be at the school, and there's a time that I need to, you know, bring them home again. So there are structures around.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose what I do is I surrender to those structures that I've chosen to have in my life, those structures that support me being able to be in my feminine flow. So, for example, I was speaking to a neighbor. We have the same cleaner, and we were talking about the fact that, you know, when you work with a one-man band, and I have this with some of my property managements as well, there's a very big difference between working with a one-man band compared to a company. And one of them is that a lot of the time a company will have more people to as backup if, for example, somebody was sick or something needed to happen. Whereas when it's a one-man band, if they can't be there, they can't be there. Now, as a woman who has things that needs to get done, and obviously I wouldn't want to then have to step out of maybe what I was doing to then pick up the slack, if you like. It would be important for me to have the support of a structure that is reliable, that I can fully lean into, that, you know, if the cleaner cannot make it this day, they're able to send in a replacement perhaps. You know, so it's all about the choices we make. And, you know, you probably see a lot of quotes and things like that, which I always like to say that we are imperfectly practicing a lot of those things, because like you said, sometimes we want to get from A to B, but it's not just going to be a straight step. Sometimes, you know, we find out how do we get from A to B, you know, it comes maybe, and then, but in that there are things that we need to do, or ways to practice being, which will allow us to get there. A bit like you said about calming down, relaxing, slowing down. You know, that's a practice, you know, for someone who's been really busy, on the ball, constantly, often filled with anxiety, but, you know, constantly not being able to switch off. It's a practice to be able to slow down.
And you start slow. You're not starting, you know, having mastery skills in that, or implementing 5 different structures to help you. One single point, be it for example, watch your sleep. Because sleep is literally a structure I find that is so easy for all of us, because it's natural. We all need to sleep, right? So to get this structure into our place and watch, okay, how much sleep do I need?
Exactly. Right, have you heard of a book? Have you heard of a book called Why We Sleep?
No, I have not, but I have a great friend. She's my go-to expert when it comes to sleep. Because I like to sleep. It's my hobby. It used to be my coping mechanism, literally, when in younger year, like in my teens and 20s. Yeah, in my 20s, my 30s, I like to sleep problems away.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't work though.
That's interesting.
Yes, it doesn't work though. But during that, I've always noticed sleep is important for me. I've noticed the difference it makes when I have enough sleep or when I don't have enough sleep.
Yes.
And, you know, when children come, then I've noticed a lot how sleep deprivation makes me like to this monster that I'm actually not.
Exactly.
Right. So, and I got to know her through my first mentor I've ever had. And so we've connected, like my first business mentor I've ever had. And so we've connected, and she was first about baby sleep, which was great because I had a young baby at the time. And then she changed now, and she's all about sleep like a boss.
I love that.
Yes. So she helps literally business people who or top CEOs who travel around the world and have all those different time changes and are like, where am I today? And, you know, they need to be fit for their next meeting and all that. So So there is a lot to be said about sleep, and I'm having her on this show as well later down the road. But what I've noticed is that we need to be aware, just like in every other area, what do we need to, what is our ideal point in
Yeah.
sleeping,
Yeah.
and what can we do and put in place when we didn't sleep enough that day? Do we have a little power nap? Do we take a walk? What helps us to feel more energized? Where self-care and femininity comes in, I think, a lot. But just make yourself clear what sleep can do for you and how that looks like, and then rate yourself on a scale 1 to 10 and say, oh, today I slept awesome, I didn't get interrupted, I plugged off all the technology before I went to bed, I didn't have technology before I went to bed, I read a book, I journaled, I was grateful. Awesome. Okay.
Excellent.
So and I think this is where you also start discovering your femininity. You start opening up little by little by little by little by little until you realize, of course, now it makes all sense. Looking back at my life and, realizing why I didn't feel great, or why that didn't work out. Or
Yes.
So now you've lived already quite, a few years on this globe. What would be the biggest lesson that you would tell your 20-year-old self?
Oh, biggest lesson.
Yeah. What would you tell her? She's like, oh, I don't know. You know how you felt with 20.
I was very happy at 20. I to be honest with you, I've been very happy. I've lived a life, like I love to travel. So I've often I've had a level of freedom that has allowed me to do the things that I really want to do. I went to university, and as I said, I'm a qualified accountant. So after I left university, I then continued on to study my ACCA, and I'm now an ACCA member. But all of those things I did not because of any pressure from outside or anything. It was just what I was doing. Some of that was obviously societal norms, to continue studying. But all of that I was kind of doing as, if you like, what I was doing before getting married and having children, because I always knew that I would be a mother. That was never something that was ever in question for me. It was definitely a huge part of my life purpose, and it's been an amazing part of my experience in life. So 20-year-old self, one thing when I talk about travel is I did used to see people going off backpacking. Yeah. So like I said, now I can, I understand about being a feminine woman. So now I can use that language to say that at the times I would have loved to have gone maybe backpacking around Australia or something like that. And because I went to Camp America when I was 18, I went and worked on a summer camp, and obviously went by myself, but with the structure of an organization, which was Camp America. Had an amazing experience, but in all, I did that by myself. Do you see what I mean? And I think it's that connection. I'd always wished I'd had a sister, because I wanted to have that depth of connection. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. And then I used to, as time went on, I sort of thought, oh well, if I've got like maybe my boyfriend, husband, then we can have these experiences together, So for me, it was always feeling like, I have done a lot of things by myself. I think one summer holidays, I sat there and the 6 weeks had gone by, and I realized that it had gone by so quickly. And I thought, I almost regretted that there were things that I hadn't done. So I decided I didn't want to have any more regrets. Okay, good. All right. So many, many things I've gone off and done on my own. So it was just, maybe I could have traveled a bit more, explored even more of this lovely earth. Right. So you mentioned connection, that you wished you'd had a connection, like a deep connection that only like sisters or siblings share. I have brothers.
Right. Well, let's say that female siblings share.
Yeah.
Right? Um, so is that what you would tell your younger self, that you actually have all that within you?
So you say within you, but I, we need, as in, as a being,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I recognize that I am all of it. I
Right.
still need the physical connection though here in the earth, because
Right.
that's what sometimes when people get a bit too spiritual, they just feel like, oh well, I'm just, they're kind of in this realm where they kind of forget that we're actually having a human experience. So,
Right.
I don't know if you've heard people talk about sort of third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, that kind of thing.
No, not
But
yet.
so yeah, so they're basically, sort of different levels of consciousness, if you like,
Okay.
being aware of what is going on, whether you're looking at what's happening in the here and now or kind of the spiritual realm and how that's affecting things. But what I'm saying with that is that I know that here, as a human being, as a divine female aspect of a human being, I need connection with other women.
Oh,
I
yeah.
need and I desire and I long for, that, like your beloved, your polar opposite, your masculine companion for partnership.
Right.
You know, those things are, it's like a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
They come together, but I suppose obviously a magnet is fine on its own. But with us, I really believe that for myself, I know that helps me to thrive in this life. When I started my business, I was looking at the fact that what I wanted to encourage was to support people having strong, united families,
Mm-hmm.
and that they could live in a happy, healthy home where each member is thriving in harmony with each other.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, someone might be thriving, but it's kind of at the expense of the others in the home or whatever's going on, or, they're all getting along. There's so many people who are married, but they're not really thriving in that partnership, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference between relationship and partnership.
Mm-hmm.
The two of us, we have a relationship,
Right.
but there's a certain level to that. Whereas a lifelong partnership, it's a very different dynamic, you
Yeah.
know. So, that's the pages that I have and things. It's to support those things.
Okay. Great. Now, I think I would tell my younger self, let me think about that, to be more, to relax more, to breathe more, that things don't have to be perfect and they come together. And that everything I experience in life is for me and not against me.
That is a lovely, lovely sentiment.
Because I thought for the longest time, like, my background is, I've been bullied like so many other children in the world.
Okay.
But I've never shared that. I felt so embarrassed. So I've kind of kept that in myself. It was my little secret, if you like. Or at least I assumed that. I don't know what my parents knew about that or not, but when we talked about that in way later years, I've noticed they had no idea about this. So I always thought the world is against me. I'm against the rest of the world.
Right. Okay.
And I'd say I'm still a trailblazer. Even now, I think that's part of my purpose here on earth, is
Yes.
to find new ways of making things happen, or for motivating people, no matter where they are, no matter how much money they have in their bank account.
Yes.
But there is always a step higher, and that you can do this when you have certain habits in your life, when you're allowing
Yes.
to be open to change them. So,
Yeah.
but I always thought the world is against me, especially when I experienced setbacks or challenges, or
Yeah.
things were like. So, and I've learned, actually not so long ago, I would say maybe a few years back, that things do happen for me.
Excellent.
That was a big change. Not that I like all the challenges, right? No. Because I'm also someone that needs to understand. When I understand intellectually, mentally, then my my level of pain gets much higher.
Yeah.
Right?
Can I offer something to that,
Yes.
with the thing of things happening for you? I would say that from a, because it's funny, because it's sometimes we accept something that, you know, okay, everything's happening for me, and like you said, it's almost in a way that our intellect doesn't really understand it.
Yeah.
The way I would simplify it for the intellect, because I love my intellect, I've got a lot of grey matter in here.
Right.
So I've had to balance things out a bit by bringing in the, you know, the a lot more of the sort of practical spirituality, if you like. But
Right.
I think for me, I would say that with the belief that everything is happening for you, even something that is a contrast to what you would like,
Mhm.
ideally, I would say the way that that is beneficial is that it allows you to make a choice,
That is true.
because all of our life is a result of what we choose,
Right.
right?
Right. And
So
right.
if we try to ignore that something is a contrast,
No, no.
or we try to pretend that actually that is what we wanted,
Right.
then we're not feeling that fulfillment of really having what we wanted, you know.
Mm.
So all it is it, you know, because again, this part of life, this humanity, we're in that place where it's all free will. We've all got
Right.
agency over our
And
own life.
that's a great gift. So that
Yes,
means just because, generations of women before you did not choose to do that, does not
yes,
have to make the same choice.
yes.
Yes, just like, remember when you learned to ride your bike as a kid? Or maybe about, I remember because I learned it really late.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I wasn't actually a kid anymore. But something that you learned later in life, you've noticed that it was, or like driving a car. Remember when you first started to drive this car? I remember at
Yeah.
the end of each lesson, I was like so, so and I think I was sweaty all over, But then, I mean, now I'm not getting sweaty all over and so tense when I think about driving. Actually, I
Do,
enjoy it. I'm like,
do you have a
oh,
manual? Do you have a manual car where you have to change the gears?
I learned on a manual kind of shift, but I also learned on an automatic. So I
Okay.
prefer driving the automatic in the city. Oh, it's just so much nicer. I'm
Yes.
one that is, I can work really hard, but generally I think my return of investment, so to say, my effort of everything, it has to be um, equivalent. So there is this
Yes.
min-max principle out there, minimal effort for maximum outcome or maximum effort for minimum outcome. So I'm more for the first.
Yes.
So yeah, and this
Me
is
too.
kind of how I wrap around my mind about choices and experience. When you choose a new way, a new habit, a new path, actually habits are the tiny tiny bits that make up the new path.
Yes.
Then it is freaking uncomfortable. It's like, oh, why won't
Especially when you're changing a habit of a lifetime.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like the longer you do it, the harder it seems to use the word, or the more
Yes.
challenging it seems. Your little inner ego is saying, "Oh, don't do that. You don't need that. It's way more relaxing to sit on the couch and not get your jogging shoes on or your walking shoes. It won't matter anyway, right?" All of those. I mean, I think we all been there. um, but the thing is, when you do it and you do it consistently, and you say, "Oh yeah, I hear you. I see you. I'm not ignoring you and pushing you away.
Yeah.
I'm kind of giving you a hug and say, come on, come on, come on, let's go jogging."
Can I just so in terms of, I'm going to say, physical movement, which some
Right.
people call exercise,
Yeah.
what are your favorite um exercises? What is your favorite way to move your body physically?
Well, also since I have a knee and hips problem right now, and no, I'm not 80 yet. I'm 41. But walking is always something that comes natural. You can do different
Excellent.
places. You can enjoy nature. When that is, when you know, I've taken care of it and healed it out, then I love yoga and Pilates.
Excellent.
I like, what did I like getting a little bit of sweat, but I don't like to sit hours in the gym. That's just not for me.
Yeah. And
I
that is where the difference is, you know, with, you know, because as you were speaking, what came to me is the push. So being a feminine woman, I don't hustle. You know, there's different ways that people do business and different ways that people do life.
That's
Me,
right.
when you said about the mini max and that, all of that, I just thought to myself, yeah, I'm all about freedom, pleasure, ease, and peace.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't push. I don't push against. You know, I surrender to what is.
Right.
So I have in my journey, I've recognized and remembered how much I love to dance. I absolutely love dancing.
Dancing is something I love to do. Yes.
Yeah, so you know, I don't know if you have over there some an exercise called Zumba. We
Yes.
have Zumba here, and I've been able to find in my community some sort of fusion classes as well. And I love the aspect of exercise to music. I remember when I was at college, I actually did a leadership award, which we had the choice of resistance training, exercise to music, and something else. And I chose to do exercise to music. So I'm also qualified to do an exercise class because I love it. I love the synchronicity of watching everybody move together. If you've got a mirror, just moving my body and being free with the music. And, you know, I do love to follow instructions. So I love following what the teacher is teaching us to do, and you know, allowing my body, my lovely strong body, because that's the thing, when you're doing what you love to do, you want to be able to do more. It's not kind of like, oh my gosh, come on, I have to do 50 of these because I ate cake, you know. That sounds more like a punishment, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas
Right. On every
whereas
I would agree. And here comes again the self-care, like sleep, for example.
exactly,
When you have enough of that, then even if you like doing something, but then you're
yeah,
more prone to find things challenging, to find things hard. They don't come so easy to you. You think, oh, you know.
exactly. And this is where the foundational things come in.
Right. So it's also a journey to learn, depending where you're coming from, like where your starting point is. You know, we're all so different, and that's so beautiful. And where's your starting point? And
Yes.
like my starting point in pushing and achieving and doing, even if I don't like to, was, well, pretty high or low, depending how you look at it. But you know, that was the theme of my life.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a journey to learn the language of my body.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm not saying at all that I've figured it all out, but I'm way more progressed.
Yes. Well done. I really would like to say well done.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm still learning tools and techniques, and I'm testing out. And yes, there's so much information out there, also not so great information. Let's be honest. So, but over time you figure out, okay, whatever they say or put out publicly, this really works, or that really works, or
Yes.
no. And so I only really recommend things that I do myself. I find that is super
Yes.
important
Yes. Yes.
to say, I've done that. I know the challenges it comes with. And here are my tips to overcome them. It doesn't mean that it works for you. You know, I find
Yeah.
no cookie cutter solution, how we become feminine, how we become successful, how we live our dreams.
Yes.
I think we all have one way, but here's the beauty. And that's why I offer also those conversations, is
Yes.
to see how we all do it differently. And we may pick up something from, you know, or when you're watching today, you may pick up something from Donnamaree, or you may pick up something from me, or 10,000 other women or men.
Yeah.
And that's great. The main thing is keep moving. You know, I think we're
Yeah.
here to keep moving. to keep moving forward.
Fabulous.
And so I want to close that call with one thing, because often what we are, especially as women, are not fabulous at is fill our own cup. I have one. Okay, so we all have that. That's my theory. Can we just? So we have this cup within us.
Can I see your cup? It looks amazing. I like that. But I love it all. You see, I'm one for designs. I love unique things like that.
New wave.
Yes.
By Villeroy and Boch.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, darling.
I love it too. No, we've did advertising. We didn't want to do that. We're not getting paid for it. Okay, just saying. Anyway, so you have this cup, no matter what cup. Okay. And actually, I have a better one, a bigger one.
Bigger cup.
So it doesn't matter, right? But the message is, you know, what we women tend to do is we are giving out of this cup to other people, because either we feel we need to, or obliged to, or we really want to. We have a desire to give to other people. Either way, or somewhere in the middle. And then what we forget to do is fill that cup, because you can fill it like a water glass. And then we're giving out, we're giving out, we're giving out, we're giving out. And then there is nothing left. And we still give. And then we feel exhausted, or, well, often we don't realize how we feel, and then burnout comes about.
Yes.
Now I have a name for it, but the thing is, it's important to fill that cup. And here's my philosophy about this. Everything that's in the cup is yours.
Yes.
That flows out, that you can give to others. So either way, the question is, what do you do to fill your cup?
How long have we got?
Like, 3 minutes.
I see. Again, this has been so. I love what you said about things being a journey, and I feel like, you know, I'm still learning, and I've got so many tools that help me do so. But what has happened is, it's almost as though I've allowed everything to crumble that could crumble, and only what's left is, you know, the real me. So when you were saying about who am I, you know, it's just those things that are really great that are still there. So there are things, like you said, in terms of sleep. Sleep is a foundational thing, you know, having enough rest, having enough space around things, because, you know, sometimes when we do have too much to do and we're giving from the cup, what happens is, what I found is that I was cramming in way too many things. So I was running around. I didn't have much time between anything. And I was often, you know, sometimes I would then scold myself because I was late.
Like, oh,
so so I'm doing my best to, you know, and give myself enough time between things that I have scheduled, which also allows for impromptu connections. You know, sometimes I see my neighbors and I'll be able to stop and talk. You know, a lot of people do speak about and complain about a lot of the British culture, in that people just kind of go in and out of their houses, they're running around, they've got no time, especially, you know, the kind of women that I work with, high achieving professional women, you know, especially when they're mothers as well, and God forbid, you know, they've just got no time. There is no time. They're literally running from here to there, and depends on where they do place their self-worth, they're probably adding on even more activity. You know, for the children, maybe they do every single after school activity and all of these different things going on, and they literally don't have enough sleep, don't have enough time. So for me, I have been able to transform my life in a way which means that I sleep. You know, I sleep. I realize the importance of that as a foundation in my life, and everything else I do from there. For example, eating. You know, I at one point was a slimming consultant. And one of the things I loved from those times was the freedom and flexibility in understanding how certain foods impacted your body, you know. And this is something that, you know, like I said, when you experience something, when you know something, you can't unknow it, you know. So, you know, going from a position where, you know, yes, you make choices based on maybe the nutritional value and things like that, but also for pleasure. You know, everything I do, I like doing.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, things like walking my children to school and walking to pick them up, speaking and saying hello to everybody that I see pretty much on the way there and on the way back. Doing things like this, you know, the Facebook communities that I'm part of, I'm actually there to be a part of the community, you know, for people to get to know me. And when the ladies post, I love to see and get to know them more. So my time on social media, it is very positive. It's not a time where, you know, I'm looking at negative things and complaining and disagreeing with what other people have posted. I'm filling myself up with beauty and, you know, things that I like to taste, things that I like to see, sounds that I like to hear, birds, water, lots of the natural sounds I really have realized I enjoy. You know, swimming, exercise. So like I said about the physical movement, quite a few of the days I will do exercise, but it revolves around dance a lot of the time. You know, last week in fact, I had so many different things going on, and it culminated with a performance that I did on Saturday. So again, it was something that somebody invited me to, and I had all of the chatter going on as to maybe why I couldn't do it, maybe why not now, and whatever else. But you know, Connie, I did it, and when we finished the performance, I was so glad I'd said yes. You know, so I'm just I'm making the choices that feel good.
Right.
I am so in tune with my body. Again, most of us work on some kind of cycle. Whether it be weekly, monthly. A lot of people work on a monthly cycle, maybe following their money, their paydays or something. Weekly cycle, sometimes, you know, Monday to Friday, this is what I need to do or whatever. I work on maybe a 4-week cycle, if you like, because I observe the phases in my body and the cycle that I go through. And I realize that, again, as a feminine woman, there are 4 very different weeks within each month for me.
Okay, good.
And I plan around that. You know, I don't try to force my body that I've been given. It's no accident the way I've been created as a woman. You know, I don't force it into something which just doesn't fit. You know, so I work according to my cycle, and everything works brilliantly from there. Again, like I said, it's all perfectly practicing it. I use essential oils, like amazing essential oils, which I then share with other people to support me in areas that at the time I feel that my body needs. So yeah, it's daily choices. Like you said about the small habits, I've now taken on the habit of moving towards pleasure. And like you said about, you know, your heart's desires being there, I really encourage women to really understand what it is that they're dreaming, awaken those dreams, and revive the youthfulness of almost, you know, in our youth, it's like we've got so much to look forward to. And then people, especially kind of middle to late 30s, sometimes it's even earlier, but you know, women can start to feel like, oh, you know, they're almost like there's nothing to look forward to, and they're in this bit of a rut, and life can feel quite tough and painful. But you know, when you've got that vibrancy to you, you know, it can be really attractive to whatever it is that you want to attract into your life. So yeah, it's just daily choices. Right.
I think that's what you pointed out really well, is that you have this choice, you know, but also it all starts with giving yourself permission to have desires, and to have the freedom to learn and grow also in knowledge about yourself. The definition of self-love is to know yourself so that you can set healthy boundaries. You understand how your body in its complexity, in its, you know, whatever 5-dimensional being speaks to you. Like for Donnamaree, it's very much the body. For some others, it's more the mind. For even others, it's more the emotions. But we all have signs, you know, that bring us to say, put on the brake, or be more active, or now is the time to be creative, or now is the time for community. So it's up to that, and start slow, I'd say too. And most of all, stop comparing yourself. because that's what I find a lot of women do also in their things that fill their cup, you know. Really start where you are, give yourself fully permission to be
Yes,
who you
yes,
are.
yes.
You know, if you maybe have this desire to be this fit mom one day and you're not, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a literally do this for realizing it. And then, you know, start where you are. Do walking or do breathing or do something low impact.
Yeah.
And don't, you know, even if you have this best friend that is a runner or something, when you're not, then obviously you're not doing sports together. That's cool.
Right, right. That's
So,
definitely a key thing with relationships as well, isn't it? Sometimes it's not everything that you're going to do together.
right. Just, you know, the main thing is I think the relationship that's most important on this globe while you're living this earth, no matter what you believe in the aftermath, is really having a great relationship with yourself. And that's the relationship that I find needs to come first.
Yes.
And this is when I say put yourself first and fill your cup first. That's what it means. And you start bit by bit, by little bitty habits. You know, you're not, you know, like, how can I say it? I think there is no superhuman being ever on earth, but we all can acquire skills. We all can become high achievers. There is no magic to it. It's really just habits putting in place and doing them consistently. And by doing them consistently, learning more and more about it. And
Yes.
there is really just wins and experiences in life.
Yes.
And even though we may not see why certain things happened for us or to us, it's actually for us, right? But there is still a reason or a purpose behind it, and we don't have to understand that. It may never be revealed to us, but we need to trust that. And then it's much easier to embrace it and to go through it with feminine elegance and grace, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much all for watching. I don't know if you could see it live. For sure, I'm going to put it on Facebook so you can ask all your questions and comments and all of this. Thank you so much for being my guest, Donnamaree. I loved having
Thank you
you.
for having me. Thank you. It's been an honor.
And we could have talked way more, but I tried to honor your time too. So if you'd like to be part of this, just send me a message or drop in the comments below. And obviously, Donnamaree and I are both happy to connect with you personally. Also in the group, Donnamaree is part of my group, Simply Connected Tribe, because I believe we really need to start to connect to ourselves and to connect with like-minded women to really go our way and become who we are really meant to be in this beautiful life. All right, so thank you so much for watching. And again, thank you so much for being my guest. It was a pleasure for me. And I've learned so much about you, about femininity, and about your ways to overcome your challenges.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so have a great one. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Okay.